Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God. Welcome, welcome, welcome on this Monday, 4/20, 2026.
Hey,
Fresh
believe in that
edition.
kind of thing.
If you're into that type of thing. Fresh edition is happening right now. Let's fire it up.
Let's start.
First Sky Omaha. In the morning. Money. I hope you're waking up with us. Hope you're waking up with us because we're trying desperately to wake up this morning. It is a Monday. Feeling pretty good though on this Monday for April the 20th, 2026.
Yeah, man.
Look at the date all the time. And fresh edition, man. This is a Senator Cypher Monday, as a matter of fact, back at the regular time. Hope that you guys got the message and you're getting up early with us. Yeah. How you feeling today, buddy?
I'm actually feeling good. Yeah, feeling good. A little tired. Had a pretty late studio session last night. But it was a decent session. Man, had an actually decent weekend. Weather was nice. Got to watch some WrestleMania. Anybody get down on some WrestleMania? I see Pops coming from Las Vegas. WrestleMania took over Vegas over the weekend.
Took over, sure did. I did read about that. Took over Vegas.
Yeah. Was it too crowded out there, or you was in the crib, Pops? Let us know.
Yeah, possibly like, I don't know what's happening outside. What's going on?
Hey,
He gives us a good Monday morning and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. We're at WrestleManiaville right now.
yeah,
Also, RG says, morning, y'all. What's up? Leia Keeser gives us a happy, marvelous Monday. Appreciate you coming in this morning. Also, RG says, Beezy, you asked what you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis?
talking about Willis? What you talking about?
Yeah. Back to the regular time. This is, if you're just joining us, I appreciate you guys getting up early with us. I know that we've been flip-flopping back and forth, but again, to accommodate the Senators' schedule, we're on at a regular time today. They'll be on a little bit later on in the show. This is Senator Cypher Monday, and the session is over, so we will be having some discussion about that said session, and we'll be talking to Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Ashley Spivey, shortly to get your questions ready for them. Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Not too bad. Just mad busy, and it's going to get worse because the weather's getting better, and we're moving into spring and summer, which always means new business, new activities. We got so much going on in the summer as far as festivals concerned: Joy Fest, Noma Fest, Juneteenth. Lots going on just in the neighborhood, let alone everywhere else. Maha's back. There's a lot happening out here in Omaha, so people are just getting ready. I mean, this is kind of that season where business picks up for a lot of people that are in certain kinds of businesses. So a lot of movement happening, and it's overwhelming. There's a lot to do. In life.
Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to Uncle Richie Love a little bit. Again, he shouted me out. Actually, sent me a text. Kind of remind me. Got the joint with the Barcades coming up, so he's definitely excited about that, man. Yeah.
Noma Fest is going to go down. I cannot wait for this.
Man,
for sure.
Yeah. So shout out to Richie Love, man. Still getting down, man. He, I connected with him last time I was there for Omaha days. Told him I was out here in Atlanta. He stays in connection, man. So yeah. Shout out.
That's what's up. Richie Love doing it big. He's out here with Frank McComb. He's coming with Keon Harold. Bart Hayes is going to be in town. And then the ones that I'm looking forward to big time, man, Mono Neon and Mohini Day. It's going to be a bass fest at Noma Fest, man, for real. So I'm really looking forward to this and connecting with Brother Richie Love too again. So yeah, man, like I said, lots happening. Cat Williams coming to town. Patti LaBelle coming to town. Smokey Robinson coming. I mean, it's going to be a jam-packed summer for real. So let us know what it is that you plan on doing. It's about time for us to start making our plans on and all that too. So yeah, lots to do. We definitely have to look forward to it, and lots going on with us too. We have our content creator camp that's firing up on the 9th of, is it August? No, May. Thank you, appreciate that. 9th of May. So we're already putting that out. We put that out in our newsletter last Friday for you to sign up if you want to. Hit us up at firstsky@gmail.com. That's the number 1ST Sky Omaha. Everybody always tries to spell it out. firstsky@gmail. Let us know if you're interested in that. This is coming up, Content Creators Camp coming up May 9th, and it's another four-part workshop. You'll be writing an article at the end of that. It'll be or a piece or a video piece or whatever it is, media that you're interested in. We'll be doing a little storytelling for this 4-week workshop. So we're arranging this now. We're getting it together, and it's going to be at the same spot. Shout out to Heart Ministry Center. It's allowing us to use their space for this. But yeah, May 9th is the start. So if you're interested, please hit us up at firstsky.omaha@gmail.com. Let us know you're interested, and we'll reach out. Yep. Man, getting coming up here. I see what's happening. I see RG says, the man, Obafemi, the ruler. Who you talking about?
Talking about that WrestleMania, man. Come on, man. RG knows what's going down. You know, RG's a fellow Hulkster. I don't know about the Hulk, but anyway, Hulk Hogan, we coming for you. Ooh.
Yeah. Ariel's 402 says all unclaimed blessings belong to me. Hit the like button. Appreciate you, bro. Pop says the crib. Always. That's what he be. Chilling at the crib. That's what's up. Marlon Harrison gives us a good morning, First Sky fam. Happy 420, everyone. Okay. Marlon.
Okay.
Let's see what you get down with. Julie Prince gives us the sun is up. Good morning. Yes. It's going to be very nice today in the 70s. Clear skies. Enjoy the day for sure. Go out and get you some sun if you can. Sean McCarthy in the chat. Morning. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Michelle Moreno is giving us a good morning. And also, RG says Noma Fest is going down over my birthday. Might have to slide on.
Amen.
Slide on it.
Say, man, check it out. Support.
Come on through for sure. I'm going to go ahead and jump into a few of the community updates because there is a few. There is quite a bit, as a matter of fact. So we need to definitely talk about it. Don't forget to mark this on your calendar because this is coming up. Shout out to Empowerment Network, the International Collaboration 19th Annual Rebuilding the Village Conference and Revive Black Business Expo is coming on Friday, May 8th at the Hilton, Omaha downtown. You see there's a way to register there, rtvomaha.com, or hit that QR code. We'll put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha for you to check it out. This is that once a year event that they do, man, 19th annual. Definitely be a part of this. Check it out. Be there, speak face to face to folks, ask questions, and find out what's going on. We have a little theme running. I got a little theme running in my head right now about what good is happening out here. We always talk about what bad is going on out here, but what good, which is actually really outweighs a lot of the problems. So this is one of the ways that I remind myself that some good is coming from a lot of things that's happening. Shout out to Empowerment Network for continuing doing what they do and they're being in their lane. So this is something that you definitely should be a part of, check into, register now, Friday, May 8th, put it on your calendar. Got to get busy with that. Also, who went to the opening yesterday? So there was the Omaha Public Library, Central Library opening. I know somebody in this chat went because it was packed full of people. Unbelievably packed. Here's Jewel Rogers doing her thing. This is, by the way, this is National Poetry Month as well, which I didn't realize until towards the last part of the month, as always. But yeah, here doing her thing, doing a dedication and shouting out. Again, the place was packed. If you went, let us know how it was. Here's another vantage point here showing so many people at this place. It was incredible. Man. It's people were really anticipating this. So shout out to Omaha Public Library for doing that, man. Yeah. I'm really impressed by this place. If you haven't checked it out, definitely go. It's open now, so it's open regular library hours. You can go and check it out anytime and explore. And we'll be talking about it a little bit more. Some of the features of it, we'll be talking about it over the course of the next month or two. So be looking for that. Also, we did say it was National Poetry Month. Shout out to our friends over there at the Book Drop.
Hey,
Amy Mather sitting there was Zadika Poindexter of the Writers Collective. So I appreciate that they have her on. You can check out their episode. Episode 242, celebrating National Poetry Month with Zadika Poindexter. Shout out to Book Drop. Man, the Omaha Public Library's official podcast. Definitely check that out. And speaking of podcasts, let's see if I can find I got so many things here. It's incredible. Let's see where. Well, guess I don't have it. I'll look for it again. But I believe Swing Left Nebraska has a new podcast out too. I'm sorry I didn't grab the graphic to that. But Swing Left Nebraska I did grab it. See, smarter than myself. Unpacking the Unicamera week 16 is going down right now. Swing Left Nebraska, wherever you get your podcast, definitely check it out. And if you're in the chat, Leia Keister, let us know what this episode is. I'm sure that you guys are rapping the Unicamera as well. this is a lot of rap going on. So we'll definitely definitely have to be looking at what's happening there because there's a lot of wrap ups happening. ACLU just did a really great wrap up as well on kind of an infogram on their Facebook page showing some of the progress and some of the things that happened there. So we'll be talking about it. We have Miss Karen Wells, who's the mother of Amir Locke, coming on the show next Monday. This is the Monday of the showing of the new film, No Knock, No Charge, the Amir Locke story. Shout out to the family for putting this together. Monday, April 27th is going down at Film Streams later on that night at 6 o'clock. So she'll join us in the morning, Monday morning, and talk about what's going on and why what the fight is how the fight has continued and what's going on with the no knock, no charge situation in brother Amir Locke. The fight continues. So we'll be talking to his mother and family. And then later on that night, plan on going to check out the film at Film Streams, the Mike Fahey Street over there, north downtown. Doors open at 6. Definitely check that out as it comes up. Also, I keep on getting this. The brothers from NAACP keep hitting us up saying, hey, this is a good time to get together. There is we already passed this. This is the 18th. So, check into the NAACP. I guess they had their second Congressional District Candidate Forum. So they probably will have some recordings of this so you can get to know the candidates, which is what this was all about. But this is just reminds me to keep looking into some of these organizations like NAACP. I don't think we talk to them enough and have much communication with them and with them and what they're doing. Try to find out what their efforts are as well. So if you know and if you're a part of that, please let us know. I'd love to hear more about what's going on there. We can have Vicky Young and some other folks that we know over there on the show to find out too. So yeah, that'll be fun. Appreciate everybody joining us. There's a couple more things I wanted to talk about too, but looks like I'm losing. Yeah, I don't think everything got uploaded. I apologize for that. We'll jump back into it when I get some more stuff happening here.
You know, I call that.
Yeah, before that, this is the main one I wanted to check out. Shout out to Marlon Harrison, man on the street. I really appreciate you. There was an all sports summit that he attended, and he took some pictures and put up a blurb. Let us know what's happening. This is what we talk about all the time. If you make any of these events, let us know. This is quality stuff. He said yesterday I had the opportunity to attend the all sports summit hosted by Fair Game Project in Omaha Public Schools, and it was an eye-opening experience. He says from learning what's working, what's not, and the new trends shaping youth sports to hearing the powerful story of Inky Johnson. This was more than just a conversation. It was a call to action. Events like this show that people are invested in the future of OPS athletics and are working to create real solutions so our talent can stay and thrive right here in our community. Shout out to Josh Jones, Dorothy Johnson, and the Fair Game Project for putting together such an impactful event. Right on, Marlon.
Hey.
Appreciate you, man. Took a couple photos there of the event as well. Shout out Inky Johnson on stage. So yeah. Just really appreciate that you went to this event and then came back and let us know about it. A little report, man on the street. Love it.
That's what that content creator can't do for you. You know what I'm saying? Get you right. Shout out to Marlon.
Shout out to Marlon. Shout out to Content Creator Camp starting May 9th. Come on through.
Hey.
We'll save some more of the haps for later, and right now we'll jump back into what's going on with today's thread. Buddy, how you feeling today?
Yeah. We are touching on a few things. As Paul mentioned earlier, we will be having our Senator Cypher in the second hour, so look out for that as the Senators, come to join us to recap the session that has now come to an end. A lot of, a couple things to get into, looking back, looking at where we are now, and maybe looking a little bit into the future. So, trying to get a grasp on that thing. But we are still in the season of following the money and looking at a few things in the realm of following the money, especially keeping our eyes on all the development. Of course, you just talked about the library. Definitely want to hear if anybody made it out to that. I do want to talk about some of the resources, some of the excuse me, some of the elements that are available at the library. A lot of things going at the library, man. And we actually shout out to Paul B going in there at several stages throughout the development, getting some footage. Definitely looking forward to that coming out, and us shout out to the library, the partnership that we've been able to create with them. Very excited about this new chapter with the Omaha Public Library, and I would love to hear how you feel about it. Speaking of partners, also shout out to Diane Good over at Rap 180. They're doing the good work with Odalale. Of course, a part of following the money is looking at housing development and some of the resources out there for the community. And they're definitely doing the good work in all of those areas. So definitely want to give them a shout out on the new front that they have as far as housing for some of their employees. I mean, housing for employees. Who's doing that? Who's doing that? So yeah, changing the game. Definitely going to give them their flowers and just due. But also definitely want to get into a few other things. A shout out to Brother Kasim, who highlighted some things over the weekend as far as what's going on in our community. And Paul, I do want to get to a point where you can share your thoughts on that. I do appreciate your point on that situation as far as getting a real picture of what's going on with our youth. I talked about last episode in this framework of following the money, looking at investment, particularly investment in our youth, and not just dollars and cents, but what kind of resources, what kind of attention, what kind of things are out there for our youth. A question that we've been asking quite a bit here on the show. And I actually shout out to Marlon for going to that sports event. I actually know a few, fellow classmates and friends of mine that I've grown up with that are now coaches, and they're kind of sharing their thoughts about what's going on with youth athletics and just what's out there for the youth in general. It actually might be a lot more than we think. We talk about the 600 kids that step up. I mean, there's some things out there. So let's actually have a real honest conversation about what's going on with our youth. Word. And also look at that from the lens of our legislation. Again, shout out to Way of Life Warlow, kind of introducing us to some things going on with our youth juvenile system. Last time we had a conversation with him, had some very interesting comments, and hopefully we can get into that and more with our senators in the second hour. Of course, we're still looking at some vetoes and things from Illin Pitlin. There's a lot to get into. So again, strap in. We're here for the next 2 hours. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, about 15 minutes into this thing, Paul B.
Yo.
What's the word?
Man, let's take a quick break and we'll come back, jump into some comments, jump into some conversation. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. And really early this morning, we're anticipating our senators, our guests. It is Senator Cypher Monday. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God. Stay tuned. We'll be right back now.
Or the bullet. The ballot or the bullet explains itself. We have a fight that's common to all of us. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging. The ballot or the bullet. The ballot or the bullet. The ballot.
Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God. We're here with you, chat chimers, ghost listeners, and monitoring spirits. We know that you're here. It is what it is. Boy, if you missed that interview that we had with the mayor, our monthly meetup with the mayor, I gotta throw some of the clips out because he was, man, there's some shots fired.
Hey, there's some flowers given too. Some flowers given.
There's some flowers given. Yeah, shout out to the mayor.
All in the same time.
Who, by the way, his birthday was the day after our interview, so he got through that whole interview and didn't mention that his birthday was the next day. So all right then, brother mayor. So yeah, man, yeah, we got a cool one this time around, and accessible, which is the real the blessing here is that we get to speak to the mayor, which is didn't feel like we could before in the same kind of way. The openness was there. But that's what we're here to do. Speak to everybody, hold everybody accountable, speak to each other, have these conversations. Let's go ahead and jump into the conversation. Appreciate everybody who's joining us this morning. I see Kimra Snipes giving us a good morning. Good morning. Hey. Like he just said, season finale for the Swing Left Nebraska podcast. Yep, some wrap up. Also, Brother McGaw in the chat, give us a good morning, family. Good morning.
What's up, cuz?
Yep. Marlon says, I need to come on to the show and talk about all these events I've been going to or I'm about to go to. Okay. All right. Man on the street got more events to report on. I like that. That's what's up. Also, RG says, I bet the senators both have good connections today since they won't be on that pig swill pilling network infrastructure.
Man, hopefully.
We'll see. Also, Maryland says Fair Game Project did a serve with 5th through 12th graders and it came out that for girls volleyball is very popular, and for boys it's soccer. Interesting.
Survey. Okay,
A
survey.
survey.
Yeah,
Got it.
survey.
Got it. We need to. Yeah, we need. I'm glad you got that information. We need more surveys on that type of stuff too. People actually asking the kids what it is they like and what they're about, and what's popular with them. So that's what's up. Archie says, "Why only engage with legit journalists?" Mary Ewing, shots fired. We only engage with legit journalists. Woo!
There you go.
I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt. Let's go ahead and get it fired up, buddy. What's first on the agenda?
Man, first of all, let's go ahead and dive into this library situation. Again, the style around here is the affirmative as far as what it is that we're talking about, what it is that we like to see. Not necessarily the bleed and lead as other people's style. This first guy Omaha. It's first guy Omaha, man. So I want to know, did anybody make it to the library, man? Did you make it out? Again, this is kind of the crown jewel of the city, right in the heart, kind of the new heart of the city, actually, if you think about it. 72nd and Dodge moving out, kind of spreading the city. The Central Library going from Farnham down now to 72nd, right on a very very busy belt line. But did you make it? Did you make it? Because it definitely went down, and there's a lot to take in with this library. Again, shout out to KMTV for the report. And the new Omaha Central Library, again located at 72nd and Dodge, opened with a beautiful bang. Again, there was a ribbon cutting ceremony over the weekend. The facility aims to be accessible to everyone, and it looks like just about everybody was out there for the opening. Even Metro Transit offering free fares on Orbit for the grand opening. Stacy Lichting, who is with Omaha Public Library, emphasized the importance of accessibility at the new location, saying public libraries are really built to support their community, and you can't support your community if it's hard to access. Again, Channel 3 got a preview that makes this one of the most unique libraries in the world. And Paul, I know you were able to get a first-hand take at some of the early developments, and we've been talking about that. Definitely want to, hear your highlights as you've been able to walk through. But the building makes the most of technology, utilizing two kind of giant crane-like robots to help move books and supplies. It's called the Automated Storage and Retrieval System, which actually, Paul, I think you're saying is one of the first systems of its kind in the nation.
Mm. In the nation, they can have all the library books in one spot, and it's a 2 or 3 story situation where a robot comes and will pull books from whatever you ordered in order to have more books on the premises. So that's one of the problems. Their books are physical copies, and they aren't usually able to be spread out in the way, or you don't really are able to find them in certain locations. So this is the way that they have more books in a location, and more copies in order for people to be able to check them out. It's a pretty awesome system to see up close and personal. You definitely got to check it out in person.
Man. And what's really jumping out to me is not just the technology in the books. Of course, books are important, but some of the other bells and whistles. Because I think again this library is replacing Do Space, which I don't know if a lot of you were able to go into Do Space, but it was a game changer for me. Graduating college, looking to get into business development, starting companies of my own, developing contracts of my own, and needing a space to kind of do that work early on. And Do Space was that. And it looks like the library is kind of setting up. I want you to stop right there. The library is setting up to be just that. As you see on your screen, there's podcast studios at this library. And it's not just that, man. I mean, it's pretty robust as far as what things the people have access to. Again, patrons will have access to free 3D printers, sewing machines, career content creation. Library features also a podcasting room, a media room that has a teleprompter and green screen, as you see on your screen. I mean, it's a game changer. If you know what to do with these tools, even if you don't, having access to these tools will elevate your game in anything that you're trying to do. And again, we'll get into a little bit of the redlining, physical redlining, as we get into the lead conversation. Shout out to Chris Baby Boy and Flatwater. But have we heard of digital redlining, which is a thing? Digital redlining is a thing as far as, again, our communities not having access to AI, not having access to 3D printers, not having access to the robust, tools of tech. I mean, we talk about data centers, but at some point we got to learn to, not just be wary of technology, but also take advantage of it. So shout out to those at the library. I see a few people. Angel Stark, shout out to you in the chat since she checked it out. Paul, you've been able to check it out? What say you?
I definitely have. Yeah, man. I was different stages of it too. I was able to get in there and see things before the construction. It was I went on a couple of hard hat tours, and then I saw the construction happen, and I got to go in when all the construction was done. and that was before the artwork was up. And then I got to go in when the artwork got hung. I was a part of the committee that was able to choose some of the artwork. I was very, very happy to be able to vote for Miss Celeste Butler and her beautiful, beautiful art that she put up there, bro. Featured, cold. She put her foot in this piece right here so hard it was ridiculous. She spent so much time on this, and it's so intricate. Very large scale piece that's in there, prominent. And yeah, I feel like just this right here means we in there representing. We're in there representing. As far as I'm concerned, that's what that's what this is about. Is that so many different parts of the city are represented here in this library. This project is going to be huge. Nothing like it. One of a kind in the country. It's going to be setting the tone for the country on the future of libraries in a big way. So. For that, you know, I didn't even get any other pictures of some of the other art, but there's tons of other art over there. But that's the one I'm most excited about too, just because it was such a unanimous feeling. Everybody was like, "Oh yes, she needs to be there. Heck yeah, let's get Miss Celeste in there," and she did not disappoint at all, man. She went in there and killed it. It's a very prominent piece. So yeah, there's a lot, and then of course you mentioned Do Space before. Do Space is there. It's probably about 3 or 4 times the size of what Do Space was before, in that space before, as far as the areas where you can create. So it's one of those. It's a place now that is like a museum. You'll have to spend 2 or 3 days going through all of it because first of all, it's huge. Second of all, it's everything. There's so many intentional spaces there. It's just really interesting to see, and it's really interesting to understand like what Omaha just did with this library. It's really going to set a precedent for the rest of the country in a big way. So you know, we always talk about what are the things that put Omaha on the map. Well, this is one of those things, man. This is, you know, like I've traveled all around the world, and when I do, I try to hit all the really major museums and stuff. You know, Tate Modern in London, and you know the Louvre in France and stuff like that. I feel like out here we have the Jocelyn. Now we have the library. We have some serious world-class situations going on here, and that's definitely one of them. And I'm so happy that it's a library, open to the public library, a public library that is answering what will library spaces be in the future, answering the question.
Man,
so
I mean,
go on and on about it, man.
I mean, I think we kind of shout out to Cameron, who, you know, kind of big ups the library and what it could mean to the community. But you think about, you know, some of the great libraries, like Alexandria, you know, like when a library is lost, what does that really mean in the community, and on the vice versa? When we get something new and something shiny, and when it's gained, what does that mean? I do also want to highlight, well, 2 questions. First of all, shout out to RG kind of answering the response about Do Space, saying, yeah, before they broke ground on the site, I got an email from Do Space that the library was going to be joint venture with them and Omaha Public Library. So I'm not saying too much about it here in this article, but I am curious. So you're saying it still is a Do Space area, or is it like Do Space like, or it is exactly Do Space?
No, it's a deuce. I mean, it is. It's within the library now. It's built in the library, so it's not a separate company or anything like that. It's built. There's places on the second floor that have areas where you can makers areas and 3D printers and all kinds of stuff over there. So it's just part of the library system. And as a matter of fact, it's going to be part of all library systems. So all the local libraries are also getting small Do Space areas within the local branches, because now Do Space is now part of the library.
Beautiful, beautiful. And also, I wanted to highlight, this is something that's jumping out to me. And this is something that, you know, I've learned, especially being here in Atlanta, one of the original 13 colonies, Georgia, and the history that's in some of these libraries. And I do want to give a shout out to the Omaha Public Library. The 3rd floor will house a genealogy and local history section, which includes out-of-city directories from places like Fremont and Nebraska City, with some dating back to 1926. And that some floor space is a piece of tapestry art that was one of the favorites in this article. So again, man, as I learn more and more about Omaha history, that's definitely going to be a highlight for me. But again, we could talk all day really about, we a couple of nerds, man, reading Rainbow Kids, man. So again, man, definitely check out the library. Essential is for you. And yeah, big shout out to those who have already done it. It's all about resources. It's out there. It's out there.
Before we continue that conversation about resources, just want to give a shout out to Angel Stark, who's in the chat, saying, I attended, very full of people, but plan to visit again this week. Building is beautiful and excited and that all departments are back to one location for nerds like me. Heard that?
Hey.
Also, the art is great. Got to see Miss Celeste's work, and the community space is amazing. Love it, love it. Ariel's 402 in the chat says, moving the library will always be a sore point for me. Okay. So there should have been a combination welcoming center library in the lobby of the new Mutual of Omaha downtown. Could have been a grant. Man,
That's an idea.
with the ideas, bro.
Why we call you the mayor?
They should have came to you about that because they sure would have gained a little bit more goodwill in the city for building Mutual of Omaha in the old library space by having like a library lobby type of situation. Still, yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, now it's just the Omadome.
They should have thought of that. I like brutalist architecture, and it was one of the only brutalist buildings in Omaha, and I was very upset they tore that down. And also just the history of the library being in that space. But I gotta tell you, man, Mayor Sanchez, until you said it, I hadn't even thought about that library because of how dope this new one is. I'll be honest. Go down there, check it out. You might forget all about it, but you're right. Mutual of Omaha should have did that.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Great idea. The mayor.
Mayor.
Appreciate that. Well, without further ado, let's keep it moving. How you feeling?
Keep it moving, man. 7:31. Yeah, we moving right along. You know what? Before we get too far into it, man, I know that we like to start with some positive. I am feeling a little bit inside though to not like we need to acknowledge that a tragedy happened in Louisiana yesterday. We are aware of what happened there. There's not really much to say about it. If you guys have seen the story, about 7 or 8 kids got killed by someone, and they're calling it one of the biggest gun tragedies in the country. Domestic dispute. We do need to acknowledge that happened. Prayers to all the family. Unbelievable. And yeah, sometimes when we concentrate on the positive, and when we try to come in with our spirits up, I do that for a while, and then I start to feel a little bit like, I don't want to be one of those kinds of news organizations that just ignores what's going on. We don't necessarily report on those types of things too heavy because we're on a different path, but we do need to realize that we do need to acknowledge that. I know there's people in the community that are hurting and feeling it. I talked to somebody really early this morning that was in tears over the story. So, definitely just want to make sure that we address that is the case. We always have to come back to what is going on with gun possession. The gun question is always there, and sometimes we have to be reminded we live in a country that has these kinds of tragedies happen a lot. This one is especially egregious, and it's super sad. So even though we're trying to bring some light to some other things right now, we don't want to forget that we don't want you to feel like we're not here acknowledging some of the seriousness of what's going on all around us. And we'll get to some of that a little bit later on, even some of that in our own community, because some things happened over the weekend in our community too that Brother Kasim addressed. So we'll get to that. But I just wanted to stop here about 7:33 right now, if you believe in the concept of time, and just acknowledge that. I wanted to do it earlier in the show, but I didn't want to break up the momentum of us trying to have a more positive and joyful spirit, because that's important too in a big way. So I'm glad thanks for allowing me to kind of break there, and we'll kind of jump back into what we were talking about here and let the flow of the stories continue on this Monday morning. Appreciate it, buddy. You want to go ahead and jump into something, or should we do a smell the coffee beans now that I done brought the mood down?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't necessarily bring the mood down. You really set the stage for today, and I try to start with the positive, because that kind of eases the ramp to get into some of the harder conversations, and also we can have the positive things in the back of our mind, because again, you had a very good point about that, as far as like both things are happening. There's
Right.
all of these great positive developments, people doing good work, people collaborating, community building, like all of these beautiful things are happening. At the same time, there's death, and there's destruction, and there's pain, and there's trauma, and there's work that still needs to be done. And we're just trying to have the conversation about all of it. But again, sometimes we focus too much on the negative. Yes, these tragic things are happening, but how often and how much are these things happening versus how many good things are happening? So we're going to try our best to have an honest conversation about it all. And again, hopefully you can continue to do that with us. But yeah, I think it'll be a good time to smell the coffee bean.
Yeah, let's take a quick break. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddy the God. Really appreciate you guys getting up early with us this morning, for sure. And joining in the conversation. For those of you that are just joining us, we're back to our regular time today on this Monday because we are accommodating the schedule of the senators. Senator Cypher is happening today. Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Ashley Spivey, put some respect on their names. They'll be joining us shortly, so get your questions ready. And we'll talk about how the legislature is getting wrapped up and everything that's been going on here, the vetoes and all. So we'll be talking about it. In the meantime, between time, what's next on the agenda, buddy?
Yeah, moving along. I do want to give a quick shout out to the good folks over at Rap 180, our reentry and Udalale doing the good work. Again, they opened up a new home for their employees. Again, this is coming out of KMTV3 Dundee restaurant. Udalale opens new home to provide housing for 7 of its employees. Safe and affordable housing, of course, is tough. We've been having the conversation of affordable housing, low income, moderate housing, however you want to frame it, however you want to phrase it. We got to talk about it. And again, big shout out to Udalale for not just talking about it, but doing the work. Again, if you don't know, Odalale is a restaurant that was started by the good folks at 180 Rap Reentry Program. Again, dealing with recidivism for our formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters. But they're not just stopping with a job. Again, wraparound services is what they do. And man, helping them get back on their feet, not just with a place to work, but soon a place to live. Shout out to Executive Director Tim Steinbeck, who actually gave a tour to Channel 3 at the new home located near 49th and Underwood, right in the area. First residents will move in next month. They will receive 3 months of free rent. Then they will have to pay a $600 a month rent. Where can you find that? Let me know. Also, Odalale employees, Carl Epley, who's actually the participant house residential manager and director of community voice and partnerships, says that there will be a check-in and kind of being there for the guys when they need us, as far as some of the wraparound services that not necessarily employees, but residents. There we go. Residents will have. Also, Epley said, "Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was lucky enough to be in the program, and if this was available to me at the time, I would just be able to have the free rent. I definitely can go a long way. From the kitchen to the bedrooms, the house is empty." Steinbeck said they are trying to raise 20,000 to furnish the rented home, and still about another 8,000 short of the goal. So again, if you're familiar with Rap 180 or Reentry or Diane Good or the team over there, any of the work that they're doing, check it out. Maybe patronize Udalale, help them with their mission. I know, Paul, you got some lobster rolls over there. You was hooting and hollering about.
Bro, let me tell you. First of all, Udalale is not just a restaurant. It's another phenomenon in the city, as far as that's concerned. So the care and the menu and the execution and everything, the atmosphere, everything is on point over there at Udalale. Yeah, I did. I had lunch last week I guess about a couple weeks ago over there with Diane Good Collins. Also, Tamara Dwyer came through too from the mayor's office. And the lobster roll off the chain. Everything I ever have there is really good. And it's just a good place to be, and you know that you're doing some good with some of the brothers and sisters that are formerly incarcerated, coming and doing the good work. I mean, that is the model for anybody who has a business, as far as I'm concerned. That is one of the models to really kind of look at. How is it that you can provide a way for people to come back into society What 180 Rap is doing is just incredible. We did a little documentary film on the Life program that they have there, LIFE, and that program was even more wraparound services for certain demographics of people as well. That you come out and you don't have anywhere to go, you can get help with a phone, some clothes, a place to stay, a job, a ride to work, all the things that you need to kind of get things back on track. And then they have several meetings and things that they have with counselors. And some of the counselors are in programs because they were once incarcerated, and a lot of these program people are really helping with knowing what they might need and helping them get what they might need and continuing on until they get on their feet as well, not just throwing them out, giving them a job and say, all right, you're on your own. There's just a lot happening. We'll have to have more people from the 180 Rap program come through. Shout out to 180 Rap. Shout out to Metropolitan Community College that's allowing this program to exist as well. And shout out to Diane Good Collins, who don't get enough flowers for the work that she does over there, because she's the one that really has put all this stuff together, including Udalale's bakery that's coming, helping people get housing, helping people get jobs directly. It's one of those. She's one of those ones that like Tamara Dwyer, as far as I'm concerned, like these people that are just 24/7 out helping people do what they need to get, do what they need to do. It's just never no off time, never no downtime. Just if you need it, they'll be there, and she's one of them kind of people. So I've been trying to get her on the show for like 2 years. She don't like being on camera. So, but one of these days, on one of these days,
it's going to folks all about the work. But that's really what it's about, though. Really getting the work done. I would say my only gripe about the whole situation is that brothers and sisters have to go through incarceration and have to go through the system to get some of that help that they actually need. You know what I mean? Right. So that is what I want to get into in this next story. A kind of really continue a conversation, a question that I asked from the mayor on Friday. Again, if you missed our monthly meetup with the mayor, definitely check out that conversation. A lot actually came out of that conversation as far as what the mayor has going on, some of the issues, and mental health was one of them, of course, on the heels of that the shooting, the situation that happened last week with the young man and the child, really, and the woman who was dealing with her own mental health situations. And again, if you missed that conversation with the mayor, I asked him directly, like, what kind of resources are out there for people, before you have to go through the system. I mean, we know there's a lot, as far as I'm going to say a lot, but there's things out there for those who are dealing with the system, trying not to get go back into the system. But what about those, especially those dealing with mental health before the system? And then shout out to WOWT for acknowledging this article or this issue, at least, and writing an article about it. John Chapman reporting, of course, on the heels of the tragic death of the Omaha woman. A lot of people in the community are not just talking about her mental health, but the mental health of the community in general and what resources are available. And let's just be honest, the lack thereof. Shout out to the Center of Holistic Development, who I know have been doing some good work. Doris Moore, who's the founder and CEO, as quoted in this article, saying there's some really challenging mental health conditions that really need someone to give them just extra care, kind of like the good folk at Rap 180. And because they are people who are prone to get off the medication that they're on, and the medication is what's keeping them stable. Moore has been on the front lines of mental health care for at least 30 years. She says insurance guidelines can determine how long a person with mental illness can actually stay in a care facility. Saying most of the time, if people are suicidal, it's about 3 days when they will allow them to stay, and then they're supposed to be connected to a therapist in the community. You can't make people go to therapy, so sometimes it's hit or miss, and I think that's one of the challenges we have in the whole mental health arena. She also goes on to say mental health is health, and that's one of the things that I think we have to change up in our conversation. Saying Marianne Borgeson, who's the Douglas County Commissioner, also joined the conversation, saying there probably is, we have people who, again, for whatever reason, are going through outpatient services but end up not taking their medication. And then that's when you start seeing the spiral downward. Douglas County, however, is working to improve mental health care. According to the article, they are building a space for inmates, again, suffering from mental health issues right next to the jail. Borgeson says it's needed to be done. About 50% of the jail population has some kind of mental health issue. But again, the question still remains, what kind of resources are out there for those who are not in the system? The new system, or the new facility at the Douglas County jail, is a $20 million project in partnership with the Douglas County Health Center. and it will help some of the community mental health care needs. But Borgeson says financial restrictions will limit the number of those the county can help. So again, I'll be honest, during our conversation with the mayor, I wasn't too ecstatic about the answer that he gave. Was kind of hoping for a more direct answer. So if anybody is with the mayor's office listening to this, I know I'm drawing a blank on her name, with our homeless coordinator. Um, thank you, Sister Tamara. She said that again, the homeless or the team over at the mayor's office, they're all mental health workers and professionals. So again, just putting the call out there. Let's put together a real system before individuals get in the system into the incarceration to help those with mental health. And again, this is something that hits close to home with me, because I've grown up watching cousins deal with schizophrenia and deal with medication and deal with just all the taboo things that happen in our families and our communities when we're because as relatives we're not equipped with dealing with those with mental health issues. So again, where are the resources, and we'll unpack this more. But Paul,
Mhm.
chat, what say you?
Yeah, let us know what you say, what kind of things you've had to deal with in the chat. So if you've had things in your family, people in your family that are suffering that you needed to get help, and what kind of help you got. I'm reminded about one of our team members over at Mind and Soul was having some issues, and we had to help try to find some resources for him. And turned out that Charles Drew had a good program that person can go and talk to somebody over there at Charles Drew, and I believe it was free for him, and so that just reminded me that there are some resources in our community there that we can reach out to. I don't know how extensive those resources are, but I do know that there's some entities out there trying. But it does seem like you do get much more help, much more money behind your help and everything else if you've been something happened and you've been in the system now. And now, there's a whole lot more options out there for you to get some help that way. I also thought it was really interesting on this article that they showed the jail. They showed Department of Corrections as their main photo to an article that says we have a shortage of mental health facilities, because this reminds us about where a lot of people who have mental health are ending up. In the Department of Corrections, they're using this. It's almost like they use that as our biggest mental health facility. Somebody even said that at one point on the show. One of the chat chimers like that's our biggest facility for mental health patients is corrections, which
Actually,
is unfortunate.
can you pull that picture back up?
Mm-hmm.
That actually is the mental health wing that they're building. That's the construction for the mental health wing on the jail that they're talking about.
So they've already been incarcerating mental health folks, and there's so many that they feel like they need to go ahead and build a wing for it at the Department of Corrections. I think you're really right. There's got to be some other things that can be preventative here in this space in a big way.
And we, got into the conversation with Mayor Ewing about Omaha Police Department being used as, or at least being trained on, on some of these mental health calls. But I do appreciate that he also acknowledged that, that's not the ideal situation as far as, that training not being extensive enough, officers not really being equipped for that. And to be honest, that really shouldn't be their job as far as mental health, making sure people have the resources that they need for mental health. By the time they get called, it's kind of too late as far as that situation. So, yeah.
I want to relay one story that happened to me just Saturday. I believe it was Saturday. Saturday morning, I went to the barbershop, and I was up there real early, probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. And one of the barbers was showing up, and we were just kind of standing outside talking. And we looked over and we saw a young man, probably about 12 years old, in shorts, in a small shirt, no shoes, running down the street, just running gleefully down the street, smiling, running. You can tell that he's had some mental issues there, and it was a very cold morning, so we were very concerned. The barber asked, hey, are you okay, young man? And he kind of looked at us and just kept running, just full speed up the street, up Lake. We said we got to call somebody. Started trying to called 211. I don't think that was the mental health number. We were trying to figure out what the number was. I called something 611 first, and we were trying to call it, couldn't figure out which one it was. By the time we realized how far he was up the street. We decided we just gonna go ahead and call 911. So we went ahead and called 911 and told the police, listen, he's obviously autistic. He's got some kind of mental issues. He's not threatening, frantic. He's actually smiling and just gleefully running down the street. He kind of stopped, picked up a flower, and kept on running. But we're really worried about him because he's barefoot. He's out here. So please catch him. He probably up at by 30th Street by now.
Mm.
Like he was mobbing down the street pretty hard. And luckily they got him without any incident. So I just remember being on the phone, being like, "Listen, he's not a threat. He's about 12. He's really just he's obviously got some mental issues, and it's like he probably just got out of the house. Somebody who was watching him, he just got out and just started running." And so yeah, just please, like literally when we addressed him, he looked at us and smiled and just kept running. So like we don't want no incident here is what we're trying to say. Yeah, we got it. And they did get it, and there was no incident. But it just was a reminder that a lot there is a lot. There's a lot of unchecked mental issues, mental things that this community really is just coming out probably in the last, I would say, 10 years out of hiding the person with the problems in the attic. You know what I'm saying? Like we just are now getting to the point of people saying, it's, hey, yeah, we got some people in our family with some problems. We're trying to get them some help, and it ain't no stigma to it, no thing. And we just trying to take care of each other and help each other. So, but it did remind me, like, ultimately I had to call 911 because I don't think the mental health professional was going to get there in time by the time he ran through traffic on 30th or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the issues too. How fast can somebody get there? And so there, at some point there does need to be more training for the police to have some training in these situations, because they might not. First of all, we don't even have the manpower for some mental health agents to be able to come and take care of some of that or get there fast. So it is going to require both hiring more people who can handle mental breakdowns and situations, and then also having more training for the police, so that there's not more incidents of people dying because of mental health. So anyway, I just wanted to relay that situation. Even just as rarely as I get out and do anything, came across a situation that we had to try to figure out what to do. And that was it's just a reminder that it's out here. We got to do something.
But I do appreciate that, that story, because it just puts it in perspective. A lot of times we can have these conversations, and especially, we pile on the police, and they're not equipped, and it's not the ideal situation. But we're having the conversation because the reality is, what else is there? Who else do you call? Where else can you go? And I do appreciate Marlon's comments as well in the chat. He says, if we're talking about therapy and counseling services, Charles Drew has good therapists and counselors. He says also Bear Company Counseling is Black-owned counseling service. Okay, there's that. Also, the Center of Holistic Health was highlighted in this article. I think somebody also shouted out Community something. I think their office is on like 72nd. But again, the fact that I can't even think of the name is kind of pointing the case. You know what I mean? And to transition into the next story is not also the conversation. Also, I wanted to acknowledge the other thing he said. I'm sorry, before I skip past that. He also says, I remember someone said, you can't help someone if they don't want no help. So what do you do then? And that I'll be honest, at this juncture, I don't have the answers to that question. I mean, I really don't have the answers to any of these questions. It's more so just posing the question and getting our collective minds moving on this issue, because it's something that needs to be addressed. And from what I'm seeing, it's inadequate how it's being addressed. And to broaden the lens a little bit, it's not just about those dealing with schizophrenia, those dealing with severe manic depression, and those at the far edges of mental health. But what about us? What about the everyday person? Shout out to former Senator Justin Wayne, who tried to get some legislation passed on PTSD. Shout out, to some of the other things. We'll get into this lead situation, but how does lead contamination? You just pointed out things that are happening specific to our community. How is lead, and the environment just in general added to our mental health in general in our community? So with that, said, what resources do we all have to unpack what we're dealing with on a daily basis? what we're surviving through on a daily basis, to be able to thrive in our own lives as well, even not dealing with, the farthest ends of mental health.
Big time. Cameron's giving us the name of that Community Health Alliance. She says
Thank you, thank
they
you.
have a couple of people who work for them who are at 360 every week. That's what's up. Wells Lavelle in the chat. Good morning, brother. He says Community Alliance. Sid Kelly says, why don't we train EMTs to handle mental health crisis? I do think they do get they get a small amount of training for that. Also, the resource that I was looking for that I couldn't um, figure out that day was to dial 988. I was all the way off.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, for this is from Nebraska Medical for immediate mental health crisis in Omaha, Nebraska. Call or text 988. So yeah, the fact that it wasn't on top of my brain is little as I called 911 ever. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Yeah. So anyway, that's yeah, some resources there, and I appreciate everybody who's in the chat putting more resources in. Let's continue that. You can put them in Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page on Facebook, and we'll add whatever that you send over to our resource page on firstsky.omaha.com, and we'll continue from there.
Yeah, man. Trying to expand, trying to grow. So a big thank you. Also, on this conversation, just kind of putting a pin for later conversations as we get closer to the second hour, preparing for our Senator Cypher. You brought up Senator Roundtree, who you actually don't talk about too much or talk about a lot here, but in this conversation, I'm also thinking of what he was attempting to do as far as legislation around those with disabilities and resources and things like that. So again, it is a fight. It's those that have their sleeves rolled up, those that are doing the work. But again, are we all aware of it? Or do we have a full picture of what's going on in our own community? So definitely having that conversation. And I guess when we continue our next step, I do want to get into this lead situation. Shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bowling and
Yeah.
Flatwater Free Press and the work that they're doing. Getting speaking of getting a full picture of what's going on in our community, really getting a grasp on this lead situation. Because it is unique in the nation. You know what I mean? Again, one of the largest Superfund sites. We've been talking about the remediation efforts, but what does that mean? What's the impact? What does it look like? So again, big shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bowling doing the in-depth reporting on this Flatwater. Let's get into it.
Yeah, man. Big time, big time. Before we do that, just want to give a shout out to the health department
Yeah.
who was trying to send the message through us about lead poisoning. It's 100% preventable. Get tested today. You can give them a call at 402-444-7825. That's fightlead.org if you want to look them up online, but check them out. Douglas County Health Department is all the way about it. There's a QR code there too that you can hit. We'll put this on Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page. But yeah, shout out to them for reminding us about the crisis that we're in here and what's happening. And then I'm loving that we're getting it from all different sides, all different sources. The city, the county, the way that Chris Baby Boy Bowling just did this deep dive, really understanding about this Superfund site and all that good stuff. So, yeah, maybe we should go ahead and dive into it. Actually, it's about 2 minutes before we get to the second hour. If you believe in the concept of time, let's take a quick break and then we'll jump in and have that conversation in anticipation of the Senator Cypher coming up shortly. In the meantime, between time, stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God.
Hey.
Stay tuned, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Man, I was just sitting here thinking about the mayor's visit. If you miss any parts of that conversation, please go back and check it out. Our monthly meetup with the mayor just happened last Friday, I guess. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last episode.
Last episode. Definitely check it out on YouTube. Check out the whole episode, everything that was said. I really am thinking about how the mayor, we always talk about how people say the quiet part out loud. The mayor says the loud part quiet a lot. A lot.
I like how you put that. I like how you put that. Like
Loud
you had to
part
ask him
quiet.
about the ice. Like is that
Yeah, he said, I'm going to tell you about this year of the neighbor because we need so much more neighborly activity here. Okay, is that your way of saying that you don't like what ICE is doing right now? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He says the loud part quiet. That's what's up. Yeah, definitely check out that show. It's 8:00 right now if you leave in the concept of time, and if you live in Omaha, Nebraska, and we're now in the second hour of First Guy Omaha in the morning.
in the morning?
I was trying to get trying to see if me and you can harmonize on that a little bit. I don't know if it worked.
Okay.
We'll see. Let's go ahead and jump back into the conversation as we anticipate our guest, Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Ashley Spivey coming in shortly. Stay tuned, buddy, where we're at.
Yeah, man. Picking up on some things and really kind of setting up for the 6 to dismiss. Of course, just getting politically minded. Shout out to those who are already on that tip. But I wanted to put some things in perspective, man. Of course, as you see, we're working with the county on this lead remediation situation, and man, it's a mix of government trust, community engagement, and all of this when we talk about this story. I know lead isn't the most sexiest of topics, but it definitely is multi-layered on this. And I first want to get into, of course, the history. Shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bowling. We've had him on the show several times. Also, brother Steve Zivney from the county has come on a couple times to kind of talk about what's going on at the county level to combat this. He was from city planning. Excuse me. But again, the history of it is definitely something that impacts all of us. The history of redlining is where a lot of this starts, as far as our communities being painted and pushed into certain corners of the community, the corners that were contaminated. Let's just call it what it is: lead, coal, all this stuff. But Omaha is unique in the fact that it's actually the largest area in the nation. Again, a Superfund site is what it's called. But what does that mean? We don't really necessarily, too much get past or get a mental picture when we hear some of these terms. But
You said
again,
super
yeah,
fun with the D.
not super fun, super fun.
It's not very super fun with the lady.
No, not at all, not at all. Actually, as far as again the impacts it has on our community and the history of more than a century of lead smelting in our community, and really it's ongoing when you add on the effects of the OPPD situation, which is why I brought up the 6 to dismiss, because this is something that we're still dealing with as far as the environmental situation in our community. And again, shout out to Flatwater Free Press and the team at ProPublica for doing the work as journalists should. Again, we're in partnership. The EPA is on the job, the county is on the job, but what does that really mean? What does that really look like? Again, yes, the county has been doing the work to remediate, but I want to be honest about what that means and what that looks like as far as, again, government trust. Of course, we've been dealing with, situations like OPPD telling us that even though we know the situation, not to believe the situation. And, we sometimes you got to read between the lines when we're dealing with these types of things. So, again, pointing in perspective, the EPA thresholds that, again, when we're talking about remediation, again, a lot of the area, a lot of the properties have been tested, remediated, but to what levels? And again, is the government really acknowledging how much lead actually poisons our community? Again, there's this 400 parts per million threshold that all of the testing has been based on. But when we had our conversation with, Brother Zivney, he did acknowledge that if the threshold is lowered by the government, who chooses this arbitrary, threshold as far as what they deem suitable, I guess you could say, for our community. If that's lowered, if that's changed, that can mean everything being retested. So again, shout out to Flatwater for going behind the efforts that are happening to really see what's going on. Again, there are several questions in this latest article on Flatwater. One of them is, my yard has been remediated. Should I be concerned? Will it be retested? And again, tens of thousands of properties actually have had high levels of lead contamination that were again under the 400 parts per million benchmark that's being tested. Flatwater Free Press and ProPublica again are investigating how effective the cleanup efforts have been. If you do have questions, you can reach out to Flatwater Free Press for testing and other information. And also, if you're outside of the Superfund site, because that's a part of it as well, the contaminated area can actually be a lot larger than we know at this point, based on the threshold that the EPA has set. According to the article, the agency currently allows for some remediation beyond the Superfund site testing. Again, if you're outside of that area and concerned about your living condition, if you live within the city limits, you can contact the city of Omaha if you are interested in testing and remediation outside the Superfund site as well. But again, what is the impact of this history, and as far as what's being done about it? Of course, we know that there's some cognitive things that deal with it. Again, connecting to our conversation about the need for mental health resources. Shout out to Angel Starks, kind of echoing what I'm saying as far as everyone needs therapy. But again, when you have these environmental compounds, that definitely raises the bar as far as the need for those types of resources. And there's a lot of compound coming out of this, but again, man, the chat's going off. Appreciate everybody commenting, and again, shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bowling and ProPublica. Let's not gloss over the fact that ProPublica is a part of this conversation. That's a national news outlet. So again, what's happening in Omaha making national news because it really is a unique national story as far as what's happening in our own backyard. Are we aware? Do we know just how deep this could go?
Yeah, I'm often thinking about how many black communities around the country really have been
Hello.
pushed into these areas where there was some kind of smelting or some kind of things happening before. Every just about every black community in the country is butted up right against some kind of coal plant or some kind of old industrial area, or
Pig farm.
all the undesirable places that people put people and get redlined in. Sid Kelly's in the chat saying. The bar has been lowered to 100 or 200. I think I was told there would be not there would not be retro mediation.
Hmm.
Yeah. Good morning, Jay Hanna. Appreciate you coming in this morning. Yeah. I do remember something about that too, about the it being lowered many
Mm-hmm.
times that way because of it's almost like they're weighing it against commerce or they're weighing it against industry. How
Hello.
much yeah, how much money, how much that's what the scale is, not how much it's harming people or not, but how much money it's going to cost to fix it, or whose properties are they fixing it? When you think about the black community, they really care too much about their properties as much as they care about other parts of town. You know, not a lot. Ultimately speaking, I think the people that are working in the city, who we've talked to, the people working in the county who we've talked to, the individuals are really concerned and care about our communities. But how much money they get to be able to help is a direct connection between what's going on in this administration, what's going on in the black community. If we really want to get down to it, there's kind of a war on the black community with this administration, and I'm not surprised when the threshold is lowered and when the money gets short. Can't be
Man,
surprised about it.
and I'm glad you shouted out and acknowledged the people who are in the local governments who are doing the work. I don't want to necessarily frame it like the city of Omaha and the county don't care. You know what I mean? I really want to more so paint the picture as far as the bureaucracy. And while yes, all of these properties have been remediated and all of this work is being done, it can only be done to the level that the EPA sets because one, the EPA is paying for it. As far as these settlements and how this thing, how the money is handled, and like Sid Kelly saying, it's always the money.
Right.
And again, this threshold is deemed by whatever administration is in power at the time, as far as who's running the EPA at the time. So again, it was a battle whether or not that 100 to 200 threshold will be acknowledged. But again, the retro mediation means that now there's properties who again fall under that line who still might not be mediated. So again, what does that mean? There's another article in ProPublica that you just put up as far as has are the kids being tested? What is the impact of this? And again, although there's all of these efforts, are we getting a full picture of what's really happening in our communities as far as kids going outside, playing, getting in the dirt, and getting lead contamination, and what that means for cognitive ability? What does that mean for behavioral ability. These are the types of things I think about when I see, the reaction from Brother Kasim. If any of you caught the video that he posted over the weekend, again, he shared a story or more so a situation that he was in. Again, for those of you who don't know, Brother Kasim Shabazz, uh, security security guard extraordinaire, really, if you ask us, private security force for Bud Crawford, but he also works for a lot of the events, a lot of the venues around town. And he mentioned that there was a recent event where there were a young folk party, and there were 3 teens who apparently had 5 firearms on them. And he posed a question like, what is going on in our communities, what's happening with this situation. And this is something that we can definitely get into in a little more in depth with our senators, who are definitely, working on family resources, working on youth and juvenile situations, working on making sure these types of situations aren't, really happening in our community, and our youth are choosing better. And I definitely wanted to, talk about that point, Paul, as we, push the conversation and looking at, again, environmental racism, some of the resources that are there that aren't there, and what's the real picture? Like, who's really doing the work? How much, of the troubled teens are really out there? What's really going on? So, Paul, kind of expound on that as we get looser here in this second hour.
Right. Well, before I do that, I just put a link in the chat for you to check out that conversation with Brother Stephen Zigny, because I just had a flashback of having that conversation with him where he was at a loss for words at a couple points in the interview, just like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how we're going to continue to use what we got and do what we do. So definitely check that out and see if you can glean what you can glean. I'm also going to put in the chat a link to Brother Kasim's live that he just did yesterday too. Definitely check that out when you get some free time. To hear what he had to say about what's going on with the youth as well. There's no way that we'll be able to do it justice. You have to hear it from him for sure, but we'll definitely get in and talk about it. Also, before I get into it, Marlon Harrison says, let's not South Omaha, where most of the factories, warehouses, he's saying, let's not forget South Omaha, where most of the factories, warehouses, and packing houses were located. Yeah, North and South Omaha are absolutely, the most industrial areas of the city, of course, and yeah, it's a constant battle to deal with those things. So, yeah, I really appreciate everybody who is like paying attention to that, and understanding that we're kind of on a little bit of a battlefield sometimes when it comes to environmental things, especially in North and South Omaha. I remember we had a brother on from South Omaha that was like, hey. It ain't like the smoke from the coal plant stop downtown. It flows right on through the South. We get that too. So a lot of people with asthma over there too. So yeah, lots to it. Definitely lots to it. But I will say this, that sometimes when we're talking about some of the things that are going on with especially with the youth, and like the battles that we have with our youth, that the youth have to battle on their own, what it is that the environment they're growing up in and trying to thrive in. We tend to talk about some of the issues and the problems, which is natural. It's very natural for us to be concerned about some things and feel like there's we're all human beings are natural problem solvers. So when we hear that problem, we're already trying to figure it out, and it's taking over our brain. But a lot of times we can forget that there's some good things that are going on too. And as a matter of fact, there's probably more good things, especially when we think about stuff that's going on with our youth. After I listened to Brother Kasim's live, I was thinking to myself, man, now there's a brother who you really want to know what's going on, ask him, because he's down there in the trenches. He's down there with the kids. He's down there seeing these situations. I had no idea that we had some situations that happened with our youth over the weekend. My world was a totally different world when it came to what happened there. But I wouldn't have known unless there's a brother like Kasim that had boots to the roots down there seeing it and telling us about it. So shout out to him. Shout out to the Black Agenda Alliance. Shout out to all the businesses that he's running, Sentinel Force, the moving company, and most importantly, getting his report on what happens when youth come unattended with guns. Things that happen. He said he couldn't really speak on it much because there's an ongoing investigation, but he really wanted to put it out there. What's going on, parents? What's happening here? He even went so far as to say there were some events he can look at the flyer and tell if it's an event that he wants to deal with. He's trying desperately not to be shooting anybody if you don't have to. not to get in any more shootouts and stuff like that. He's trying for there to be a peaceful situation. Sometimes you got to just decide you're not going to have the event if it's going to be a situation where you have that kind of knowledge that he has to see that it's going to be some mess. So shout out to him for that. And I think about like, well, how is it that I don't see that and I'm not hearing about it. It's not in my world as much. And it's not in my world because I'm in a different lane. I'm in a different place where I'm seeing kids that maybe could have been in trouble, but went a different route and now they're in step up, or went a different route and now they're away for the summer doing a internship somewhere, or was in trouble early on and then found their way out by some of the programs that we got out here that helped them to do that. Even some of the nonprofits that he spoke on, and so it just reminds me that at the same time that we have these issues, we also have a lot of examples of a lot of good stuff that's happened as well. We kind of got to remember that, and it made me want to dig in and find some stats. How many kids are out here? How many kids are actually in trouble? How many kids are doing great? How many? What is the percentage? Are we not having some togetherness, and then we're condemning all of our social programs or all of our nonprofit programs that are in the city, or not being able to come together because we feel like, what are they doing? We got all these problems. Things are horrible. Yes, we got problems. Things are bad. But at the same time, things are good as well. There's things that are good and bad is happening. Now, a person like Brother Kasim, who's in the trenches, he's the one that is face to face with some of the issues and the problems are. And nobody should be making any moves without checking in with that brother on what's really going on with the youth. Number one. Same thing with Sherman Wells. People who are boots to the roots with it. Got to find out exactly what's going on. But we're also not really reporting unless it's like, if it bleeds, it leads. We're not really reporting unless there's an issue. We would love to get into some reporting on some of the things that are happening. For the majority of the youth aren't in trouble. The majority of the youth. It's hard to see that when we're trying to problem solve the ones that the situations that they are in trouble. But there's also other lanes and people that are guiding young people along in different directions. Sometimes we forget that. So I kind of wanted to start to look at that, like the next research projects that I want to do. I kind of want to look and just see, how many kids do we have? How many are in trouble? How many are incarcerated? How many are in programs? What programs have worked? We would love to get those reports too. If you've been involved in any of these programs, or I immediately think of somebody like Kimber Snipes, who had programs that she was running out of the Washington Branch Library, where she was taking care of kids, and things kind of went south when she wasn't able to continue those because she was obviously making a huge difference with those kids in her programs. There's a lot of programs out there that kids are doing. I'm thinking of sports as well. Sports has got to be something that kids are keeping kids out of trouble. I knew a lot of kids when I was growing up that would have been in trouble if they hadn't joined the football team and got a little discipline that way. So there's got to be those things as well. And I don't want to take any concentration off of kids and off of the situations that need help, but I also do want to acknowledge that at the same time there are positive things going on as well. So we don't forget that. We don't have a place for that to go at some point.
Right. Man, and I really appreciated, that sentiment when you said it before the show, and it continues now. Like, you really think about, like we were just talking about how many kids are in DCYC right now. I think they say like roughly 60 or 70 kids are being housed in DCYC, and when you think about that versus 600 kids in Step Up, kind of like, okay, what is really going on? Is it more positive than negative? And of course, the negative is we're talking about loss of life in some situations. So it definitely needs to be addressed and figured out as far as those who, get off the path, if you will. But yeah, what is the real picture? Is there more good, going on in the community that needs to be highlighted? Speaking of that, shout out to RG. We talked about everything that Brother Kasim is doing and still didn't talk about the Urban Survival Club.
Man.
So yeah, the brother's busy. He's definitely doing the work. RG says, speaking of local youth, keep an eye out for Urban Survival Club of Omaha. Big things coming. Okay.
That's what's up.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Appreciate that, man. I appreciate you guys letting us go in a little bit on this. Definitely check it out. Like I said, if you are part of any organizations or any efforts to that help, and you see some examples of that, let us know about those too. We want to hear about the examples of youth that are slipping through the cracks. Of course, we need to hear about those things, and we need to try to figure out what we can do about it. But we also want to hear success stories as well on kids that maybe even kids that have gone a certain direction and ended up not being able to do what needs to be done. So. We when I think about Senator Terrell McKinney, especially, I think of a young brother out of North Omaha. I've always been impressed by him since day one, and you talking about a success story. As far as I'm concerned, this is a brother who's doing some things on a huge level. Shout out to him. Shout out to Senator Ashley Spivey. Shout out to Senator Roundtree, who is also, man, really kind of fighting a good fight, really on in his style, real pretty, real kind of low key and coming from a religious standpoint as well on right and wrong, and really kind of represent his constituents at the same time, doing the work and fighting a good fight, man. And it's unfortunate that he has to be fighting so hard on just trying to pass some legislation that's just good for people. Like,
Man.
why is that so tough? Why is that so tough? So, I think a lot of the problems that we have too are really centered around that. Sometimes the powers that be don't have our best interests at heart in the first place, and that's just what's up. And so then you got your situations where you got to have, the brother Kasim's and everybody boots to the roost trying to help one-on-one with kids and families, because where are the resources?
Man. Actually, speaking of that, before we get ready for our guests, because they are, going to be here pretty soon. So definitely look out. Senator Cypher coming up. Get your questions ready. All that good stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I did want to acknowledge something there, brother. Way of Life Warlow, kind of talked about, speaking about our youth, and talking about stories. What comes to mind is, even when our youth do go off the beaten path, people like brother Way of Life Warlow is a perfect example of, they still shouldn't be thrown away. They still shouldn't be forgotten about. They still shouldn't be discarded. They actually still have an immense amount of value and talent to our community. It's just, how's it being pulled out of them? What resources? And how are they being viewed? Really, that's really the big question. Like, even when we talk about the violence and the things happening in the community, a lot of times, talked about like, there go those YNs. We even do it in our community. But again, how are we really viewing these people? Because at the end of the day, they are people, not criminals. Check out 13th. So shout out to actually 1011 now for reporting on this. This is a report from actually earlier this month. Again, brother Way of Life Warlow, if you missed that conversation we had with him, I believe last week, I think a week before last time, but he kind of tipped us off to some of the things happening with our youth as far as them being moved. And again, there was some legislation passed for our youth to be viewed as adults once they get into the incarceration system. So again, for those of you who might not be wary, there's some movement going on with our youth and how they're being housed in the correctional system. This coming again out of 1011 now, out of Lincoln. A report reads, the Nebraska Department of Correctional Services says earlier this month that the youth population housed at the Nebraska Correctional Youth Facility in Omaha will soon be moved. Apparently, there are now 46 inmates currently at the Nebraska Correctional Youth Facility, 18 of whom are actually under the ages of 18. And those 18 juveniles will be transferred to a housing unit at the Reception and Treatment Center, RTC Center, with sight and sound separation, quote unquote, from the rest of the facility's population. It's unclear whether the remaining 28 will be moved, or if so, they might be housed instead. The Nebraska Department of Corrections said renovations at the center are scheduled to be completed by July 1st, so they are still underway and will include intentional design elements that promote rehab and consider the specific needs of youthful population. Also in the statement, it reads, because Nebraska Correctional Youth Facility operates well below its capacity, yet has fixed operational costs, it's not an efficient use of resources, and the youthful population can be better served in an RTC unit designed for their needs. And so it sounds all good, but again, that's youth being moved from Omaha to Lincoln, meaning family members have to now drive, maybe going from 10, 15 minutes to now 45 minutes to an hour to go visit family members, to go, go to therapy sessions, to just do whatever they need to do to be there for their child. And then also just brings into question the whole youth detention situation. We still have the facility downtown. Still a lot of questions about that. Still a lot of questions about what's going on with DCYC, and of course, the state's willingness and intentions on treating and viewing our youth as adults, which is a whole nother conversation. Chat's going off. Paul, I kind of see some thoughts swirling in your mind. What say
Mhm.
you?
Well, first of all, I'm going to put the link in. If you missed that conversation with Way of Life Wardlow that we just had last week, definitely check it out. That's the link. Hear what he had to say directly. Somebody who was also kind of working with the youth and kind of understand some of the stuff going on. Hipped us to that situation. The
Man,
thing that stands out in my mind is that the situation with those kids is that they're juveniles that are going to be going to a grown man jail. I think is what he even said,
mhm.
which can't be anything that is that can help with rehabilitation. We all kind of know that when you get in there and now you're in with hardened criminals and stuff like that, that things can go a certain way. So it's unfortunate that this is happening and they're moving kids around this way. We've been reporting on people getting moved around from from ICE facilities in Minneapolis down to Omaha, down in Nebraska,
Man,
and everywhere. They're just moving people around all the time. I can't see that being a good thing. So definitely
man.
keep an eye on it and definitely check out what Way of Life Wardlow had to say. What you thinking?
It just hit me. It just hit me like a ton of bricks, man. Right now, it's a slave tactic. That's exactly what they did on the plantations.
Moving from one spot to another.
That's exactly what they did on the plantations. Moved them from plantation to plantation to where you don't know where your cousin's at. You don't know where your mom at. You don't know where your family at. And that's a reality. I have a cousin right now in federal prison. I have no idea where he's at.
Man,
I have no idea.
that's wild, bro. That's wild.
Wow. I'm sorry, it just hit me. Like it really just
Yeah.
hit me. Like new slaves, man.
Marlon Harrison in the chat says, if you talk to a lot of people, they would say a lot of youth is off the chain and have no home training, and that's not true. I work with a lot of youth who are trying to get back on track. That's what's up.
Man, where's the help?
Where's the help? Sid Kelly says it's so tough to get things done because there's no money to be made off of it. Also, RG says, piggybacking off of what Marlon just said, a lot of the kids I've come across just need a little extra support, whether that be mentoring or being a soundboard or whatever that looks like. It don't take
Yeah, man.
much. Marlon Harrison says this would be a good time to get Chris McCoy of the 100 Black Men and Candace Jones of Girls Inc. on the show. Yeah,
Man.
talk about mentorship. Yep.
Yeah, we've been reaching out to Brother McCory, man. Definitely would love to get him on before the season ends. Good brother, young brother leading 100 Black Men. But yeah, I mean, but that goes to the point as far as, some of the good resources that are out there. 100 Black Men, Girls Inc. doing great work,
Yeah.
So, how can we get those who are falling through the cracks into those situations? Because unfortunately, that's really the reality. And, I'm thinking back to when I was dealing with, classmates who I would sometimes spend nights with, because they don't got nowhere else to go. And what I'm saying, I have a rapport with my mom, like, she knows I'm being responsible. So I'm accompanying friends like who don't have anywhere else to go and just like, hey man, let's got crash your car or let's chill here on this couch, and just being there with them, having somebody there with them goes a long, long way because a lot of people have nobody, man. I can think of man, some tragic stories that classmates and people that I grew up with, former girlfriends, have gone through just because they ain't have nobody. Talking about 16 years old, you know what I mean? Man, real situations. Real
It really
situations.
is. It's a shame. I will say, there's thinking of like what those are the middle people that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of like there's kids that are absolutely in trouble. There's kids that are absolutely in trouble. There's kids that need really one-on-one kind of help and kind of help from people that know that kind of trouble, like Brother Kasim and them. Then there's the group that are doing well. They're doing okay. They got all the support they need, and the families and everybody, and whatever they need in order to thrive and get to the next level. And then there's the kids in between, which is most kids, which really can go one way or another, especially around the junior high school age. They can either go off into some craziness, or they may have had that one teacher, that one mentor, that one person that sent them off in a different direction. They took that one trip that showed them something different or whatever the deal, or they took that one job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's reminding me of some of these. I'm so happy that you guys are putting job situations in the Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page. I'm seeing so many job postings. As a matter of fact, there's a job posting for this Jobapalooza that's coming up on
Hey, okay.
5752
Oh,
Ames Street, 9/11. June 6th is coming up. They said, save the date. It's back again this year, bigger than ever. Join us for 6th annual Jobapalooza. High energy, family friendly morning packed with games, prizes, food, connections with 30 plus employers, fun for all ages. It's not your typical job event. It's full on Saturday morning experience where opportunity meets community. So check
hey,
that out on June 6th, 9 to 11, right there on 5752 Ames Street. Bring your family, your friends. Come ready to connect, explore, have a blast. So yeah, there's a lot. We'll put this in Friends of First Sky Omaha so you can hit that and check it out. That job might be the thing that puts them in a different direction. Something like this might be great for the family to come out, see what options are, let's dream about the future a little bit. Let's talk to some of these companies that want to hire and so on and so forth. So very interesting stuff. And we'll keep on posting on all those types of things. There's a lot happening there, and also just on a positive tip as well. Again, we got to talk about the fact that there is also a lot of good going on. Shout out to Katie Whites who put this in the chat. She talked about the most and least educated counties in the U.S. Nebraska ain't doing that bad. The counties of Douglas County and all these counties that we think we got a lot of problems, we also got a lot of good happening. She says the 3 Nebraska counties that make top 10 most educated counties in the entire nation for high school attainment: Loop County, Kenya, Paha County, and Wheelers and Douglas County win at 97.9%. Look at the map. Our state is heavily coated in light green, meaning a vast majority of Nebraska counties have attainment rates of over 80%. It's a testament to Nebraska families, dedicated educators, and community-wide commitment to opportunity and growth. And congratulations to the top-ranked county. So it's very interesting thing she posted in Friends of First Sky Omaha that just had me just reminded me of this, reminding me of the fact that there is some things that are going on. We tend to focus on the problems. That's just what we do as human beings. We're problem-solving humans. So we're going to put more energy on what the problems are, but we got to also put in our mind that at the same time that's going on, good is going on too, and that's just as valid as the bad.
that's what we build upon. You know what I mean? That's the blocks, that's the bricks that we continue to stack.
That's right. 8:32 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, I'm seeing Brother McKinney trying to get into the chat. Brother McKinney, if you can hear us, I'm not seeing you able to pop up here, so you might want to try to restart. It looks like we're already starting with some technical difficulties here on our Senator Cypher. I'm convinced that the senators are getting sabotaged half the time. Is what it is, but looks like he just came through, so we'll go ahead and jump in. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Senator Cypher. We got Senator Terrell McKinney joining us in the chat. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Man, doing good now that we're seeing you and your tech working. I know that. We'd be nervous about it.
Man.
No.
Coming live from the crib. How you doing this morning, brother?
I'm all right, man. Was kind of down all weekend. Kind of got
Really?
sick. So yeah. So trying to get over that.
What you got, like flu-like stuff going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been fighting it, bro. I've been hitting that NyQuil every night, so don't jump on me. But I can feel it coming. Yeah.
Call a little something at that legislative basketball game, huh? Is that...
Somewhere, man, or wrestling practice with the kids or something. I don't know.
Hey, kids be nasty. Kids be nasty.
Hashtag kids be dirty.
They do.
Well, so legislative session is over. I'm sure that you're happy about that. And it looks like we got a Senator Ashley Spivey jumping in with us as well. So let's bring her in too. There she is. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good.
Senator
How are y'all
Ashley
doing?
Spivey on deck. We're doing okay so far. We hope we crossing our fingers on the tech, of course. You know how it is. I see you back home.
I am, and I'm making breakfast for my kids, so I'm going to be doing both because that's what working moms do.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Back to the regularly scheduled program. So I mean, I guess that's where we were picking up. How the end of the session, Senator McKinney, Senator Spivey, how we feeling?
You want to start, Senator McKinney?
I feel all right, man. I got my priority bill passed, my committee priority bills passed. So I mean, it was an okay session. I'm sure we got a lot of amazing things done, or a lot of amazing things happened. Kind of with that we're in, considering that we're already operating in a super majority, and we got to take what we could get. Good and bad. I wasn't happy that on the last day, Senator Roundtree's bill got vetoed. Senator Frederickson, Senator Connor, Goreka. Senator Hunt had a bill vetoed as well. All Democrat bills got vetoed. We passed a budget that is not the greatest in my opinion. We're suspending 5-year-olds again. We passed a bunch of felonies to further incarcerate people. It was some good stuff that happened, but it was a lot of bad that happened as well. But there was also a lot of bad that could have happened that didn't happen too. So you gotta take the good with the bad, I guess.
Or Senator Spivey, what's your take on the end of the session?
Yeah, I agree with Senator McKinney on everything. One thing, Senator McKinney, it was John Kavanaugh's bill, not Megan's, the other one that got vetoed. I agree with everything he said. In terms of my bills, I had a couple really good bills move. So my year for my bills was a little bit better than last year. I had the missing and murdered Black women and children study bill that moved. And if you look at the national news around what we're seeing around this like femicide and violence against Black women and children, I think it's really important. My priority bill, which Senator McKinney was actually one of the original co-sponsors and introducers, got passed. That put more money into middle and rural housing. I had a couple of bills attached to Senator Michaela Kavanaugh's priority. So doula reimbursement, LIHEAP, so crisis energy assistance passed to have a higher amount. So, I mean, for me, like some of my bills that I wanted to get done, I think it was a little bit more successful. But to Senator McKinney's point, we stopped a lot. They have a super majority. We're playing a lot of defense there. And so I just appreciate being in the trenches with folks that are really advocating and fighting like Senator McKinney, Senator Roundtree, Michaela Kavanaugh. So
I appreciate that. I was thinking a lot about Senator Roundtree lately. President McKesson also put some stuff out about some of his fight. We had him on the show a while back, and he talked about a lot. Like he's really low key with what it is he was doing, but he was doing some really important stuff. I feel like. And it's really sad that I think that bill that he was trying to find housing for disabled people. Why would that be something that gets vetoed? And it's just indicative of what you're saying. It's a situation where it's not supposed to be partisan, but they sure do like to do stuff like veto Democrat bills and stuff like that too. So we definitely want to give Senator Roundtree his flowers. I know that I've seen a lot of people out there saying that too on that. So what was the situation with that? If you guys did this veto, why it sounded like some of the allies backtracked on the vote, which is the reason why they couldn't overturn the veto. Is that how it went down?
Allies. But what happened was that his bill dealt with making sure if there was a development or people were going to extra state for money from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, that there was a percentage of like the development that they build that is set aside for people with disabilities. It was like he started at like 10% to 5%, 2% to match the federal requirements, and it was his compromise. It passed on funding, and then the governor ended up vetoing it. And another piece of the bill was to make sure that cities and counties properly basically assess where there was housing for people with disabilities. Because when he introduced the bill, he wanted them to go back, and they was like, no, that's too unreasonable. So he was like, okay, just go back to 2020 or 2021 to track what housing in your community are accessible for people with disabilities. So he made those two changes in the bill, and he always is willing to compromise. And then it passed, and the governor ended up vetoing it. And then a couple senators who are not out got up and was like, I voted for this, but I was against it, and a bunch of yes. And it's frustrating because this is the second year in a row he's had a bill vetoed by the governor, which he more of a at this point. He's only been in the legislature for 2 years. And I told him, like, when Senator Roundtree, not Senator Wayne told me one time, he was like, well, you got to look at veto from like the perspective of you must be doing something right. You must be working, you must be in the needle for something that's good. I know it's not good to get something vetoed. It's not a good feeling, but at least you fought for something for the right reasons, and because of who you are is why somebody is vetoing it. So it's bittersweet. You get it passed and then it gets vetoed. The people who act as if they're your allies and smile in your face, but go against something that everybody knows is right. It's frustrating.
You ain't lying.
I think the other thing with his bill is when we did that habitat workshops, that came up that there's not enough housing that really looks at the different ability needs of communities, especially like hearing impaired, like folks that are in wheelchairs. And so these houses are getting built, they're getting subsidized by state dollars. And then folks that actually need the housing that are more vulnerable in our community can't even access them in the same way. And so I think he really addressed a real issue that we heard, which is disappointing that the body didn't stand in its power to do the override. And Senator John Kavanaugh talked about this with Tom Brandt, who is termed out. And that was one of the things that he said in his kind of farewell remarks, is that like Brandt, a Republican, like stood up and did a governor override, like a veto override. Like he got folks, he activated, and like that was important that we are separate equal branches of government. So like you can go against what the governor said because you passed it as a body. Like we passed this. And so I think it was, for me, really disappointing as a freshman senator to see that things that are normal and normal practices that Senator McKinney experienced with colleagues that were actually working across the aisle and trying to do what they said as a unicameral, that we don't do that anymore. It is very much party politics, and they took their word back.
Go ahead.
On that note, I was kind of thinking, my mind is not necessarily looking back at the past session, but looking forward. We got this midterm coming up. There's possibly going to be a lot of movement happening, and we have we talked about John Kavanaugh several times. Some of the bills that he's pushed. We have him next Wednesday, and he's been kind of at a central of a lot of conversations as far as filibuster power and whether or not we have the numbers really to combat some of the things that we might be coming up against next year. So that's kind of where my mind goes. How focused or how much thinking. I seen you, Senator Terrell McKinney, put out an endorsement of John Kavanaugh. How much are you thinking as far as succession planning and what the legislature might look like next session? And if things go well for Trump, and what we might actually be dealing with at the state and federal level legislatively next year. Is that kind of where your mind is as far as midterms, or what are you looking forward to next?
I mean, the reality is Republicans have 33 votes. We have 15 Democrat votes and 1 independent currently in this current makeup of the legislature. It all is going to depend on elections, honestly speaking. So regardless of Senator Kavanaugh going to CD2 and winning in Congress, we today at this point they have a supermajority. They could, if they were polling, they could do everything they say happen if he gets elected. So the reality is that we need to pick up more seats. We only have 15 Democrats, 17 votes to sustain a filibuster in a sense, or
And
stop
all
the bill
those
from
15
passing.
are not good. They're not good on certain issues.
Especially criminal justice. So we need to pick up votes with or without. Even if he stays, we still need at least 2 more votes, if not more. So like the narrative around it is not valid in my opinion, because it's not telling the full story or giving context to it. Like we
Right.
need 2 more votes. Honestly, we need about probably 4, 5 to be real, because if we don't get more people in the legislature, the governor's going to continue, especially if he wins, he's going to continue stuff he's been doing. So I mean, it's all about making sure we get people in the legislature that are properly aligned with what we want in our communities, and that's the fact.
I'm gonna
And
jump in real quick
go
to
ahead.
just reiterate a little bit about what's happening there. I think a lot of people have been seeing these commercials. I know they've been popping up everywhere with John Kavanaugh, Senator John Kavanaugh, puts respect on his name, and they're saying that he's aligning with Trump. And some of these they're saying we got to do something about not letting him run so he can stay in, because the blue dot will be gone. And there's a lot of fear mongering going on. I'm really wondering who's putting these ads out. Number one. But every time we talk to you guys are saying the same thing. It won't. There's so much more that's needed in the legislature that besides him and his vote. That's not even what the concern is. And concern has to do with this election coming up and also getting more people in the seats.
Yeah, that's
And
really what I wanted to focus on.
And the other frustrating thing
Go ahead.
is, one, they got the votes. If they really wanted to get rid of the blue dot,
Right.
Republicans have them to do it. 2, about criminal justice. What about all these felonies that's getting passed? It's bigger to me than just a blue dot. Like, yes, it's important, but what about all these felonies they passing and incarcerating people and all these other things? Like, they cut Medicaid, they stop centered around bills around people with disabilities. Like, there's, to me, it's bigger issues that are occurring in the legislature, and just to say this election is just solely on this blue dot is baffling me, because at the end of the day, people are community invested in like they supposed to. They further, passing laws to lock more people up. Like, it's issues.
All right.
If I could just add to that, Senator McKinney and I were talking about this. So I +1 everything that he says. And I think this is going to be hard for some of the folks that maybe watch that identify as non-Black and are really supportive of the blue dot. To me, the blue dot is a badge to keep white liberal folks, making them feel good about themselves. To say,
Okay.
I am blue. That means I'm progressive. I align to these values, and it feels like a badge of honor that I can wear. And to Senator McKinney's point, what does that actually look like in implementation? We currently have the blue dot. It has never decided in 100+ years a presidential election. And to his point, if you look at the data in this blue dot area in CD2, what do the outcomes of people look like? The people that have the worst disproportionate outcomes are Black people, then Latino people, then Indigenous people. And what are we doing to change that? What do people that are so excited about the blue dot, what are they doing to make sure that 11 and 12-year-olds are not locked up? Because no one came. When they tried to reverse Senator McKinney's bill about school suspension, where were they at the Capitol? Where were they online? So I feel like people have a hard time turning into themselves to say, am I really decolonizing my approach? Do my values actually match my behavior? And I take real issue, and I'm off social media because I need a break, and also for one of these reasons, is that these folks are like, we got to protect the blue dot. We got to protect the blue dot. And the reason that we are able to do that now is because we have Republicans that have come alongside of us, because we senators are working a strategy inside the body. Nothing is dependent on one person there. It's about strategy, the talent, and how we work together. And so it's this false narrative intentionally, because people have their candidates and they are putting politics inside of public service. And so, for everyone out there that is so concerned about the blue dot, I do not want to hear anything else about a blue dot if you're not willing to do the real work around issues that are impacting communities inside of this blue dot that we are advocating for every day, that we are fighting for, that we have not seen any of these liberal folks be there. We have been by ourselves.
And I'm actually hearing that a lot from political pundits, journalists, activists who waved the historically waving the Democratic flag, but the reality is, a lot of us realize that a lot of the party is propped up on our backs, on our votes, but what do we get in return? And I appreciate you, acknowledging that, Senator Spivey, because that is where I wanted to go, as far as not focusing on John Kavanaugh, not focusing on the blue dot, but focusing on the reality of what we could be dealing with next session, as far as if things continue the way that they already are. Again, if Trump has his way during these midterms, there will be emboldened. There will be people that will be emboldened. And one thing that I learned from this session, from speaking to you senators, is how the pendulum swings, if you will. And next year, I'm anticipating will be a more intense session because, again, Senator Spivey kind of tipped us off, educated us on how the budget conversations are happening. And if I'm not mistaken, next year will be the actual big budget conversations where some of the bigger cuts, some of the bigger moves, some of the more aggressive bills will be
We'll
rolling
be in
out.
$1 billion deficit. We are going to be close to $1 billion deficit next year. And so, again, to Senator McKinney's point, we have to think about the strategy long term. We need to pick up seats and votes. It's going to make a difference. What happens at the state also has tentacles into the city, into the county, and how folks are showing up there. Like, it's a lot. And I don't expect everyday people to know the ins and outs like we do, right? And I think that is the point, I think, to Paul's original question, is that people are using misinformation to scare people to, one, not to vote, or to vote in a way that aligns to me, the same kind of capitalist power centering model that we've always been in. And so I think people need to register. People need to show up on May 12th. They need to do their own research. And they need to think about, why are there two sets of mailers information going after one person? And imagine how much money they are spending. Imagine if we put that money to the issues that we're talking about, or to the races that Senator McKinney is talking about, to get folks elected. So I think it's really disgusting. I don't like politics in public service. It ruins it. It's what's wrong with government now. And it's going to get uglier. We are only April 20th. So it's going to get ugly for real.
That was definitely, I'm glad you brought that up about this kind of fear mongering thing that's going on, because buddy, you're not in town here, but I'm trying to tell you right now.
You feel it?
It's that ad about John Kavanaugh and the blue dot is everywhere all the time. I can't imagine the amount of money they spent on the ad campaign here. We
Actually,
know,
I still get TV. I still get Omaha TV out here. Don't ask me how, but I get Omaha TV out here, and yeah, I see some ads. I see what's going on. I try to keep a finger on the pulse.
bro. Listen, the way it hits your phone, you're not in the geographic area, so the way it hits your phone,
That part, the geotagging, that's
it's
monster.
literally, I swipe, it's like every third swipe, it's that ad, it's that same ad, and it's just fear mongering. So again, we're gonna have John Kavanaugh on, Senator John Kavanaugh, I'm supposed to respect his name, on Wednesday. And we'll definitely talk to him a little bit more about all of this as well. And both of you guys endorsed him, right? Did we already talk about, you guys both endorsed him? Okay. All right, cool. And I kind of want to know, I don't want to spend too much time on it. I kind of want to know what's your main points for endorsing him for this particular position that he's running for. I don't want to get too far into it, but what's your major point on why he's the one out of the 6 that are running?
For me, I mean, he's the only one that has worked on legislative policy. I've worked with him in the past, so I've been able to have a firsthand experience on, who he is as a person person and what he will and won't do. So that's for me is work with him in the legislature, his work as a public defender here in Omaha, and just him just being who he is. So that's for me.
That's what's up. Senator Spivey.
+1. Just working with them. I worked with them for 2 years. I worked with them outside of the body as a lobbyist. When I think about Washington and all like the corruption and people that pad their pockets, and you see like, oh, folks made this amount of money when they're in Congress or the Senate, and he has a lot of integrity. Like, I have never seen him be bought for a vote. He's about his word, and if he changes his mind, you're going to be the first to know, and the reason why, even if you don't agree. And so I think that level of integrity is really important. And then plus, like, I want someone there that knows policy, that knows government. And because we're in a unicameral that does have party politics, like we have to work with Republicans. They don't have to work with us. We have to work with them. And he's been pretty successful in that if you look at his track record. And so I think that to me meets the moment.
Right on. We're coming up to the end of the show. We actually only got about 5 minutes left in the show. Buddy, you have any last questions for him real quick?
Yeah, actually picking up right here, beyond, your endorsements of Brother John Kavanaugh, looking at the forecast, we already know, candidates have already declared. So we kind of have an idea of what the legislature may look like. Are you endorsing, or have you been paying attention to any of the candidates in any of the other legislative districts that are running, or how you feel about how that landscape is looking for next year?
I've been looking at it. I ain't honestly been paying a lot of close attention to a lot of the candidates, but for District 8, Megan Hunt's seat, I support Aaron Feistinger. I support Jess Godani in District 18. And I forget the other candidates, but it's some good candidates that are running. So hopefully, they make it through the primaries and through the general.
Man, very excited about Aaron Feistinger's run. Senator Spivey?
+1. Yeah, it's hard to keep up, and so we've been in session, but I think Senator McKinney and I are very aligned in just our approach and our values, and I think there's some good candidates that are running, and now is the time, like as we're kind of coming out of wherever we were, the upside down, then start to pay a little bit more attention to the races.
That's what's up. Okay. Last question I got for you guys is, what's next for you guys? Where are you at, Senator McKinney? I'm thinking you get ready to be up pretty soon, ain't you? You've been in there for a minute.
Don't talk about it.
What's next?
Don't talk about it.
I thought about what's next. I got a town hall on the 30th coming up. Besides that, just getting back to the work community, engage people, seeing what's going on, and just trying to just do what I can. Coaching. Politically, what's next? I'm just trying to finish out this term. With you. I don't got any plans. Other people have asked me what I'm going to do next, and honestly, I just want to chill. And I still want to, work and do some stuff for the community. I just don't know if I'm running for office just yet, or anything for anything else, but because that's not. I didn't get into it to be long term. I got into it to just work for North Omaha and for the people in North Omaha, and this was the only seat that I worked for me at that time, and I still feel that way today. So, I don't know.
So you have one session left?
Yeah. Well, no, 2. Another bite. So 2 more years, a long and a short.
Okay. Senator Spivey?
Spivey said, "Don't talk about it."
No.
I get a little sad, a little stressed. Yeah. We talk about it all the time, so I'm just going to leave it there because Senator McKinney knows how I feel. You're itching? Okay, finish your bites. Okay. So before I do that, I wanted to answer Michael's question in the chat around what is the Black Foundation for Black Voters. And I have said this numerous times about Black in Action Collective, which is a C4 that I'm the ED of. So I created Black in Action Collective because of my experience doing C3 eligible, like civic engagement organizing. And then I worked on a ballot initiative and I saw how money was moved and how we are included in a way that felt very extractive, and just to say that, oh, like we checked the box of having this type of voice and then being a candidate and now an elected official. And so Black in Action Collective is a space where it's not about party, but how do we build Black political power? So right now, our goal is to get 5,000 Black model voters registered and then get folks to turn out. We do issue-based education. We're doing some candidate support work. We're working on a fellowship to get people to be able to be professionalized in this space and see themselves within this work, because it's not a lot of us. And so there are spaces that are doing that, and our C4 has a PAC. And I will also say this, because people are critical, which I'm used to. Like, it's not me. Like, I have a board. Like, this is an organization. And so, oh, that's good. He's eating his waffles. And so this work is really important. And to like Senator McKinney's point, I've dedicated my career to community. And I feel like in terms of my legacy and what I hope from my stint as an elected official is that, like, I have opened more space and built more capacity for my community to participate in a way that makes sense for us. And so I hope folks get engaged. I hope y'all are talking about, again, voter registration and turnout, because we also don't turn out to the polls, especially on a midterm election, if you look at the data. So I will say that, 'cause I think that question is really important within the chat. And then in terms of the midterm, so Senator McKinney and I have a joint town hall in June. I think it's June. Yes, June, that we will host. And then I have a District 13 town hall in September. We have interim studies. And so I have a couple, I think I have one in his committee for urban affairs. I have a couple of other interim hearings. And then I'm just meeting with folks. So like trying to meet with different community interest groups and folks as I'm thinking about policy, and and then I work my real job, because I have to have a job.
Right.
To be a state senator. So then I'm at work.
That part. For real.
Man, just kind of final question as far as interim studies and things, and anybody interested in raising any issues with you over this legislative break. How can people get in contact with you if there's any issues they want to address, any interim studies they want to start? How can they, get down?
The best is just email me. tmckinney@ledge.ne.gov is the best. People write me on social media, but try to direct them to my email, because it's better to track it and just to get a faster response. McKinney@ledge.ne.gov if you got any questions.
Word. How about yourself, Senator Spivey?
Same. Yeah, you can email my office. I'm not a chair of a committee, so like Senator McKinney can set his priorities now and has a little bit more space. And so my interim studies are already in, where like we'll actually have the hearing. But if folks have an issue that they want me to look at, like I can still do some research in like other parts, but it won't be the hearing in the same way like he has that flexibility as a chair of a committee.
Okay.
Yep. So just email my office, which is A-Spivey, and then same @ledge.ne.gov.
Cool. We'll put that in the chat for you. Appreciate you guys joining us today. I was thinking, since it was the end of the season, the end of the session, that you guys be all happy about, jovial, and tell me about what we're going to do this summer and all that. But got to kind of leave it on a somber note a little bit. I'm a little disappointed in that. Shout out to Senator Roundtree as well. For all the work that he's been putting into, man. Get his brother some flowers and stuff he's doing. And it's just,
and he's like, and I will say, he is such a blessing. And he's a pastor through and through, but the energy and calmness and the way in which they treat him there, like Nebraska does not deserve him. So he is truly a jewel. And I know he's in Sarpy County, which I don't go to Sarpy County like that, but he is truly a jewel, and he is really advocating for folks that are pushed to the margins, and is just so measured, and he just takes it. And so yeah, he is definitely, I'm glad that I have him and Senator McKinney as my family down there.
I love it. We have to have him on and ask him about his last part of the session too. Brother Levering in the chat says, shout out to Spivey and McKinney for all they do at the legislature and locally. Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Ashley Spivey, put some respect on their names. Appreciate y'all for coming. Really, really appreciate it. Ashley got one last question for you. What you cooking over there? I heard that you saw some waffles.
So, I'm kind of in my lunch lady bag. And so I made some maple chicken sausage because we don't do no pork. And then I made some pancakes. So I kept my little home today, and my oldest is out of school. We have a dentist appointment after this, and we're going to hang out. And then, I might make some fish sticks for lunch. You know what I'm saying? Just very lunch lady today.
I'll be over there in about 15 minutes. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll catch up with you guys soon.
Thank you.
Peace. All right. Could not get past that session without having some technical difficulties. You see me jump off?
Yeah, I was seeing that. Ashley kind of blinked off a little bit with Senator Spivey.
Get through one session with them without some stuff. Like we getting sabotaged. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. Y'all appreciate it. Appreciate you sticking with us 5 minutes past the agreed upon time. It is 9:05 right now. If you believe in the concept of time and you live in Omaha, Nebraska, it's going to be up in the 70s today. Beautiful day. Get outside, get some sun, take care of yourselves. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, big shout out to the senators again, ending the session, taking some time out of obviously mother duties, father duties, just life, you know what I mean, to come speak with us. Hopefully you glean something from that. Hopefully we cause more clarity than confusion. At least is what we're trying to do around here, man. So again, we got another big kind of loose Senator Cypher on Wednesday. Of course, looking out for Senator John Kavanaugh. Definitely get your questions ready for that highly anticipated conversation. But yeah, man, in the meantime, between time, man, y'all take care of yourselves. We're going to keep doing the thing, keep trying to, make it a little bit better every day. Make sure you tap in with us. Of course, we have the Content Creators Camp that's coming up very, very soon. Man, shout out to Marlon Harrison, man. I mean, kind of shining jewel, if you will, man, showing really the fruits of what it is that we're trying to do. And big shout out to Marlon. We'd definitely love to have you on the show. Kind of, peek in, see what you got going on, get your take on some of these events going on in the community. Definitely thank you for touching the people and getting out there and seeing what's going on. It's a lot happening, man. So let's live alive with one another and catch us right here on Fresh Sky Omaha in the morning, Paul.
In the morning.
Hey, coming back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
Take it away, man.
Like Buddy said, we will have Senator John Kavanaugh on Wednesday. We might have Melanie Williams on Friday. We're still trying to lock that down. So it's still going to be a week full of some very important conversations as we are in the voting season that's happening right now. It is the midterms coming up. So get yourself ready to get the word out, get the vote out, all the things that need to happen in order to make some change. I hope that we're bringing some information to you guys that making you understand where our power lies, how we can put people in seats, make some change, and get some help for the folks that are in there in the fight, like Senator McKinney, Senator Spivey, and continue on with that. I appreciate everybody that joined us today. Do us a favor, and if you missed any parts of the show, go back and check it out on YouTube. I forgot to ask you to share the show today as we were going live, but you can also always share the show on your page, whether we're live or not. It'll show right back up as soon as we get off the live. And also keep on populating Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page over on Facebook. That is where the conversation continues as we are not live. So definitely go over there, and I appreciate everybody that puts information there and also comments on the information being put there too. Shout out to all our members. We appreciate everybody who is a $10 person, $25 person, $50 person, everybody who contributes to this effort that we're doing here as a member. If you want to become a member yourself and support what we're doing, please go and check us out at firstsky.omaha.com. Hit the join button and become a member of the channel as well, so we can make sure that we continue this and expand it into the areas that we need to expand it. We'll see you on Wednesday. Again, please take care of yourselves and enjoy this beautiful weather day that we have. We only got a few of them all year long, so this might be one of them. Take advantage for sure. Shout out to the Umaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders allowing us to speak before you, and shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. We appreciate your comments, your questions, and your respect for the guests that are on today as well. And I appreciate everybody who joined us today. We tell Senator Spivey and Senator McKinney to not really pay too much attention to the chat. We will bring out some stuff, but they don't listen. Spivey be all in the chat, and that's what it is. So she knows now that she's gonna answer the ones that she wants to answer, and that's what it is. So she's making her job easier. Appreciate her, and appreciate all of you. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the Red